History is often shaped by calculated military campaigns or deliberate treaties, but occasionally it is the result of a colossal, unplanned blunder. In the 15th century, European economies were driven by the demand for Indian spices and silk. These goods were highly lucrative, treated by merchants with the same reverence as precious metals. For centuries, the primary artery for this wealth was the Silk Road, an expansive network of overland trade routes connecting Asian markets directly to European buyers. That economic lifeline was severed in 1453. The Ottoman Empire captured the city of Constantinople, closing the crucial choke point of east-west trade. The immediate result was a complete blockade of the overland route to India. European monarchs found their access to their most valuable trade goods abruptly cut off. With the land blocked, merchants had to find a maritime alternative. The dominant strategy of the time involved a desperate race to navigate south, attempting to bypass the massive African continent by sea. The fall of that single city created a severe geopolitical vacuum. The pressure to restore trade pushed one specific navigator to propose a massive, highly risky voyage. Christopher Columbus was a stubborn sailor with a counterintuitive pitch. He proposed reaching the east by sailing directly west. This historical map illustrates the prevailing geographic consensus of the era. Scholars understood the Earth was round, but the world was thought to consist only of the contiguous landmasses of Europe, Africa, and Asia, surrounded by an empty ocean. Columbus based his entire proposal on a severe mathematical miscalculation. He hypothesized that the globe was relatively small, estimating the distance from Spain to the coast of Asia to be a manageable 3,700 kilometers. In reality, the distance was over 22,000 kilometers. That immense gap was completely obstructed by an unknown continent. Columbus convinced the Spanish monarchy to fund a voyage built entirely on a significant mathematical error. In August 1492, Columbus departed from Spain, leading 3 small vessels straight into the unmapped expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. As weeks bled into months with no sign of a coastline, the reality of his miscalculation set in. Fresh water depleted, provisions began to rot, and a deep psychological terror gripped the crew. The tension reached a breaking point. Facing apparent starvation in the middle of the ocean, the sailors prepared a mutiny, intending to execute Columbus and turn the ships around. Cornered and desperate, Columbus negotiated a final ultimatum with his crew. He asked for just 3 more days to hold their westward course before abandoning the mission. Before that deadline expired, on the morning of October 12, 1492, a lookout finally spotted the horizon breaking. They had found land. Columbus was spared a mutiny and a watery grave by sheer geographical luck. Stumbling upon this landmass exactly when his supplies were failing cemented his belief that he had successfully navigated to Asia. When Columbus stepped onto the shores of the Bahamas, he was certain he was standing on an outlying territory of India. Because of this geographic delusion, he labeled the indigenous Taino people he encountered as Indians and referred to the surrounding islands as the Indies, terms that stuck permanently. He would conduct 3 more grueling voyages across the Atlantic, stubbornly wandering the Caribbean. He relentlessly searched the jungles for the spice markets and gold-roofed palaces of Asia, refusing to accept the reality of his surroundings. Columbus died in 1506, still defending his original mathematical theory. He passed away unaware of the actual landmass he had struck. The true nature of the discovery required a different navigator to analyze the coastlines. Years later, an explorer named Amerigo Vespucci deduced that this landmass was a distinct, completely undocumented continent, separate from the Asian mainland. This historical map from the era reflects that realization. Cartographers honored Vespucci's geographic correction by labeling the newly drawn landmass America. Columbus set out to secure a lucrative trade shortcut. His refusal to admit a mistake accidentally revealed a new continent, leaving behind a global geography and a legacy of misnomers that we still use today.